to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, soon to be joined by Rob here. He's just getting on here, so I figured to come on in for those of y'all that are waiting for the show to start here. So we got a lot of news here to go over with you in a very odd feeling kind of episode here because it's Sunday. It's Sunday. We don't come on Sunday unless there's a game usually. We're not no game yet here. I wish there was a real game. We had one yesterday, but to be honest, that was fake and bogus and BS there. I don't deal with those kind of games very well, to be honest with you guys. There's like no starters. There's no meaningful backups. You know, it's one of those things where you watch it to see the back end of the roster, but that's it. And guys, most of those guys that you saw yesterday will not be on the roster. So we're not even going to go over that stuff with you guys because that's not as important as the stuff that went on today. The stuff that went on today is the important stuff. We're talking injury news. We're talking roster cuts now as the final 53-man roster starting to get formed up a little bit here. It's time, guys. It's time soon. The football season is upon us here. So let's get ready here with the first segment we got here today for you guys because we got to talk about the injuries. And we had some injuries to some people you really don't want injured. Not that you want any player injured, but this one especially. Stop me if you heard me before when I say this. But we got to give you the injury update on John Michael Schmitz, JMS, the second-round pick here out of the 23 season there. The guy that was literally thought to be the best center in the entire draft by me and Rob as well. And the guy just can't get healthy here. So, he comes back in. He's battling a shoulder injury all camp pretty much there. Nagging injury from last year at the very tail end of last year. And he gets his ankle rolled on during the game now. So he's out for the game. You start going, oh, God, here we go again. But the good news is, guys, the scans came back clear today. So he's good to go. Should be able to start, during the first game here against the Vikings. Hopefully, there's no issues at all. And we can see the real JMS. Because I'm telling you guys, I still have faith in this guy. I really do. I still have faith that he can be a good center in this league. I'm not sure how high the ceiling is. I'm not going to go crazy at that. But I think he, at the very least, can be at an average to above average center in this league. I thought that coming out of college there. I thought he was going to be a really good prospect. And he's just had nothing but bad luck there. So, just not even as a Giant fan, but as a human being, you got to hope good for this kid because it's horrible. Like, imagine going in with all this press, all this buzz to a team that really needs your help, and you just can't stay healthy. Like, that's got to weigh on you. If you're any kind of human being whatsoever, that's got to weigh on you. So, obviously he wants to get healthy. He wants to get back to going. But I encourage you guys, because I know a lot of people are bashing on him left and right. Check out the first couple weeks of last season. Check out the film specifically on him. This is before he had the injuries start happening there. Lower body and the shoulder injury as well. He was a lot better then. The injuries really took away some of what made him special there during the season. And I still think he could be a good center in this league. I still have faith in him. And hopefully that faith is rewarded with a good season this year. And all starts soon here, week 1 against Minnesota. And we're in those ugly uniforms. And he's going to be on the field ready to go by all accounts. So that's good news for us. We need to get this offensive line healthy. We need to get this offensive line together. And we need to get everything rolling here. So now we got another offensive lineman that got hurt. It's Evan Neal. Evan Neal again. Another guy who always hurt, never can stay healthy here. And he played against the Jets there for the first time in forever and said he had fun against the Jets. Had fun. I could not believe it point blank, guys, when I heard that. Had fun. A little crazy there. As Rob is here. There he is.
Here I am.
So we'll talk about Evan Neal here. So Evan Neal comes into the game against the Jets, plays his first game he had since the season-ending ankle injury he had last year, and he comes out and gets injured all over again, guys. He gets his ankle rolled on too, and it's the same injury same ankle he injured last year, guys. Same ankle.
It's a good or bad thing for us.
Listen, I still think Evan Neal is one of those guys that I feel like what's going to happen is he's going to play his way out of New York, go play somewhere else and be good elsewhere.
Like the Jaguars.
That kind of thing. You've seen it. Look this year alone. Ben Bredeson is playing good from Tampa Bay. Matt Pert is going to be the swing tackle in Denver. Like, you see it all the time. Will Hernandez is a quality starter for the Cardinals. I mean, guys leave the Giants offensive lineman bust, come back much better. We got to end that. But so Evan Neal, like I said, he rolled his ankle during the game with the Jets there, and everybody was doing oh no, here we go again, another injury, same ankle. And he says, about playing there. He said it was great. It was just fun to go out there and play football with the guys. He said, first of all, I wasn't out with an ankle injury. I was only supposed to play 20 to 25 reps, and I came out on the 21st that I was in on. It just so happened that I got rolled up on that last play. But I got up. I was fine. I took a couple hops around. I just kind of felt the doctor wanted to look at it just to make sure it's fine. Probably won't get a scan tomorrow, but as far as how I'm feeling, I'm okay. So I don't think there's anything going on. So
he said,
get injured, but the doctor wanted to check me out and took me out of the game for medical reasons.
Yeah, he's trying to sugarcoat, like, hey, listen, I was only supposed to play at most 25 snaps, but minimum 20, so 21.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
That's insanity. That's like the equivalent of ending a relationship saying it's not you, it's me. Like that's what he basically just did there. Like seriously, like just own up to it. Like like you could say, and I would have had no problem with this guy went back and said, listen, I'm coming off an ankle injury. You all know that my ankle got rolled on. They didn't want to take a risk. They wanted the doctor to check it out. They wanted to make sure there's no issues. So they took me out of the game. I was right about where we were going to play anyway, so it was not a big deal for anybody. I really should just become his PR specialist. I don't know what's going on. I would have said, "Are you clipping burgers?"
Neal,
say that clipping burgers.
Yeah, Evan Neal, if you're listening,
I'm just saying, like,
boss are for hire to be a PR.
Like seriously, would you have not taken what I just said a whole lot better than what he said?
100%.
Like he just doesn't understand how to speak to the media whatsoever. I feel like, and I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy. I think he just lets his frustration show. I think he lets his disappointment in himself show. And you can't do that when you're talking to the New York media because they will make a mountain out of a molehill. And I'm gonna make a regular hill out of a molehill, if that makes sense, because it's just stupid to say. Like, you got injured, dude. Just admit it. I say I got injured. I didn't think it was a big deal, but they just wanted to make sure. It's not a big deal then.
Oh, it's like, listen, people roll their ankles getting out of bed.
Yeah.
It happens. Drew, I know it happens to you all the time. I'm over 40, but
well, listen, I've never rolled my ankle. I have hurt my back while sleeping. That I've done multiple times. But yeah, he got his scans. His scans came back clear. So he also should be good to go against the Vikings in the season opener. At this point, he'll probably be the swing tackle at this point if we need him for anything. Kind of like the sixth offensive lineman maybe comes in during sets where we might have an extra tackle, like goal line situations, that kind of stuff. But otherwise, most of what you're going to see is Evan Neal on the sidelines doing his best Jason Garrett impersonation and clapping. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's where he needs to be. Until he gets his head straight. Because I still don't think his head is straight. When you say that kind of stuff, it's not straight, guys.
Well, I mean, we talked about this before. Like, it's an ego thing. Like, he comes out with a strong ego, saying like,
"Yep,
I'm the best. I'm the best was, best there ever be." Like, everyone thinks, especially like when you're drafted high at your position, which you're at in offensive line. Like,
you've been the best your whole life.
Yeah. So you come to the NFL and you come to a struggling offensive line, supposed to be the hero, and you fall on your face and you roll your ankle.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like,
yeah.
reality hit him in the face, and he's got time to blossom in the NFL.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely does. And I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I do still think he'll have a career in the NFL. I just don't think his career with New York. I don't think he can deal with New York media.
He's probably gonna have a career like Eli Apple. We just talked about him in the last episode, but
no, I wouldn't put him in Eli Apple. Eli Apple is just a jerk. I feel like Evan Neal is just frustrated and says stupid things because of that. I feel like Eli Apple is just flat out a jerk. I don't think Evan Neal's in that category.
Well, I think Eli Apple was a mama's boy. So like it was a lot of that came from there. Like it was just a little sport. That's what she's
my mom
says I was special because I was a cornerback drafted high in New York market. Mom said.
But I do want to focus on one thing he said that I really take issue with. He says it was just fun to go out there and play football with the guys. Guys, if anybody watched the game, and again, we're not going to talk about the game itself really too much because it's honestly
very boring.
Yeah, like if you stayed awake and watched the whole thing, and you don't have a podcast or a Giants content creator, kudos to you because you're a legit fan.
You're a solid fan because I have a podcast and I had to go rewatch the game because I had dinner plans.
Yeah, well, yeah. I rewatched it begrudgingly a second time. And did not.
Yes, I watched half the game out of dinner. Well,
but anyway,
dinner. Yeah.
He gave up a massively bad play that was a sack to Tommy DeVito. Like legitimately, like the guy just went right around him, and that wasn't Evan Neal all night long. But still, you got 21 snaps. He said it in the quote: 21 snaps. Of those 21 snaps, you gave up a sack.
That's not so good.
That's not very good. Like, no, that's very bad. Like that means you're probably giving like 2-3 up a game at that rate. That's not a good ratio. You should not be like, I had fun watching my quarterback get smashed to the ground. It's the guy putting past me. Like, I'm sorry. I just have issues with the people who play this game like that and aren't pissed. Like Evan Neal, I'm sorry. Like I get it. He's coming off an injury. There's definitely, he definitely gets a little bit of time to kind of get back into full swing of things here. But dude, you got to be pissed at yourself for giving up that sack. You could have had every other play perfect. You make an issue like that on a play like that. You can't be happy. You can't be saying you're having fun. So here's what he did say about it, though. He said, I feel like I played decent. I mean, obviously it wasn't ultimately up to my standard. But I mean, for my first game back in about a year, I feel like I did well in the run game, pass protection. I was okay. I gave up the one sack, took a bad angle. But I haven't had the opportunity to take many live reps up to this point. So just getting back into the game. You should not be brushing it off, dude.
No.
Like, that's an issue, guys. If you don't see that's an issue, whew. And I get it. There's different personality types. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are different personality types, and different people have different reactions based on their personality types. This is a scenario that if you don't get pissed at yourself and hold yourself to the standard that you're pissed off at yourself for doing that, I'm sorry. There's something mentally not there that needs to be there for you to excel in this league. Point blank. I mean, and that's in anything you do in life, guys. Like if you don't go like make a mistake, and I'm not saying beat the hell out of yourself. Like I'm not saying that. But you should be pissed at yourself to a certain degree. And I don't hear that. I feel like I played decent, even though I gave up almost 5% of the snaps as a sack.
Yeah. When your job is not to let up sacks.
Yeah. Because 1 in 20 is 5%. So it's not difficult to say that 1 in 21 is, 4 and change and almost 21, almost 20% there. So yeah, that's not good, guys. So, I want to continue having faith in Evan Neal as I've wanted to continue forever. But y'all know if you watch or listen that I've kind of given up on him. I want to speak for you, Rob, on that, but I've given up on him. And honestly,
I've given up on him a long time ago.
This just cements the fact that, I'm just done. Just done. Like, see if we can get him at him as a bench player for the next couple of years because he's not going anywhere for cap reasons. But the second you can, like, honestly, if we got to make him a post June 6th cutoff or June 1st cutoff at that point next year to split the cap and call it a day, like maybe that's what we do. I'm done. I'm just absolutely done. Like,
Yeah.
this has been a guy that's
he's
been
not been good. It's not been good for the New York market. He's not been good for New York Giants. He's not been good for Daniel Jones or any other quarterback that's been sitting behind him. He's not been good for his fellow offensive line members because the line is only as strong as its weakest link, and he's been. And I hate to bash him like it, but he's been the weakest link the whole time.
Yes, you are the weakest link.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, super British weakest link.
Now, I did look it up. So apparently next year, by the way, we can't cut him no matter what. We get no savings, even if it's post June 1st. The only way to save some money is to trade him. If we trade him, even pre-June 1st, we save $4 million. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm willing to negotiate for a 7th round pick. That might be the route we go next year. That might be the route. I think somebody would take a shot on him.
I mean, it's like we put 7th round pick up in our right tackle.
Yeah, I got to stop giving up on a guy that's going to be on this roster this year. Though I got to I feel like there's a fine line between not expecting good things but still hoping for good things. And we got to ride that line because he's still a Giant. He's going to be a Giant. Like, I don't want to go that negative. I'm there mentally, and I'm trying to stop myself. Stop myself. He's definitely my least favorite Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Fair to say.
That's sad when you're saying that. All right, guys. Let's stop bashing Evan Neal, even though he should be bashing himself instead of us doing it. Let's get into the roster cuts, guys. There was 12 guys gone today, guys. 12. That's a lot.
So many.
Yes. That's a ton. So let's get into the first one. And it's Kyler Bogg, who we just signed recently, which, by the way, theme for this episode, guys, we just signed recently getting cut. Like, that's going to be a thing.
Bye.
Yeah. So, again, 6'2", 305 pounds. Big guys you expect playing tackle. Played at Minnesota, started his college career over at Houston Baptist. Was an undrafted rookie free agent that we just signed on the 20th off of from the Saints when they just cut him. Impressive strength guy. I mean, 34 bench reps, 225 pounds during his pro day. We thought he might be in development. Somebody tried to develop into like a run stopper kind of guy. Just a big old body to just basically hold the line. Looks like if that happens, it happens elsewhere, unless they sign him to the practice squad. I mean, that's the thing. All these guys they cut. I mean, you never know if some of them gets brought back to be in the practice squad later on. I will say this: the fact that happened now, not Monday, Tuesday, when they have to finalize that, says they had no problem releasing them early and giving them a shot to go elsewhere.
Which is also a nice thing too. Like, hey, if you're going to cut these guys now, let's give you an opportunity to go somewhere else. Let's not sabotage. Yeah.
But that just tells you what I'm saying is that I don't think these guys have a shot of making the practice squad. Probably, I really don't think so. I could be wrong. Stranger things do happen, but that's what I think is going to happen. So, brother number one, what's up, peeps? What's up, man?
My dude.
Let's get into our next one here. Breon Borders, who I gotta say, I'm semi-shocked by a little bit to a certain degree, because this is a guy that was Shane Bowen's guy, point blank. It doesn't shock me they're not making the roster, but I thought they'd hold on to him to the last part, maybe try to sneak him onto the practice squad for Bowen. 29 years old, 6 foot even, 189 pounds, originally undrafted rookie free agent out of Duke in 2017. Has appeared in 32 games overall with 6 starts, accumulating 42 tackles, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit, and 7 pass deflections. Most notable season for him came in 2020 with the Titans, where he was, like I said, playing for Shane Bowen, who was then, working on the Titans coaching staff. That year, he did 27 tackles, 5 pass deflections, and an interception while playing 411 of his 526 career defensive snaps. Otherwise, it's all been, a guy who's been special teamer kind of guy. He's the epitome of a journeyman, played now with 13 different teams. So he's on the search for Lucky 14. So
it's good. Good stat.
People keep picking him up. They keep picking him
down.
And we talked about him when we first signed him. This is that guy that shows you why players stick around, because he's made millions of dollars just bouncing from team to team to team to team. I mean, not like $20-30 million, but he's made a couple $1 million.
Listen, if I had the opportunity, I would do the same thing.
Damn straight. Keep it up. 100%. Off to the UFL when that happens too afterwards.
Yep, he's got an opportunity to make a few more $1 million in this time. So
you keep going, man. You keep going.
Yeah, live my dream.
No hate there. No hate.
Yeah.
Next up, we got another guy we just signed. And I got to tell you guys, we did a video on this guy when we first signed him last week that literally on YouTube became the biggest video we ever had. And I'm still a little shocked that this is the video that became the biggest one we ever had. But yeah, Giants cut Clayton Isbell, who again we just signed last week. He's a guy that I thought we were going to keep on. I thought he'd make the practice squad. That was my personal opinion.
At least, yeah.
I definitely didn't think he'd make the actual roster. But I thought maybe they try to get him on the practice squad because he's a rookie, because he's going to try to convert to a different position, because they had a background before they signed him with their buddies over there in Carolina. But yeah, no, he gone. 24 years old, 6'2", 221 pounds. Played at Illinois State, Utah, and Coastal Carolina in college. His last year there in Coastal Carolina, 86 tackles, 3 interceptions. Previously, like I said, got released by the Panthers and promptly picked up by the Giants. So obviously, again, Joe Shane and Dan Morgan had that little buddy relationship there at that point there. So they got, like I said, the guys vacation together with their families even. So, I mean, don't tell me that Dan Morgan didn't speak very highly of this guy. But the biggest issue with him is his speed. He's not fast. And when you're not fast and you're trying to change positions like he's trying to do, he's trying to change over from safety, which is what the Giants still had him listed as, to a linebacker because of speed issues, then there's a learning curve. And that's why I thought this might be a guy that tried to sneak onto the practice squad, give him a year or so to develop. I mean, you got a guy like Deontay Johnson, who we talked about much during this preseason before he got injured, was looking really good in camp, really good in the first preseason game against the Lions. This is a guy that nobody talked about really when he got signed by the Giants prior year. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to develop a player. And, that's what I kind of thought we were looking down the barrel of at that point with him as a player. But it looks like that's not what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and cut him, unless they surprise me and put him back to the practice squad. But I'd be shocked if they do that. Like I said, I think anybody they cut this early, they're giving him a chance to go elsewhere because they don't really plan on keeping them. So, short visit here in New York for Clayton Isbell. Next up, we got a guy who did a little bit of highlight reel in there yesterday with the Jets game there. And that's John Giles, who, if you saw the highlights, if you saw the game, whatever at that point there with the Jets, this was the guy who did that hurdle run where he literally jumped over a player and just showed absolutely amazing athleticism. He was originally one of the guys who brought into rookie camp, signed as an undrafted rookie free agent, played college over at West Florida, Virginia Union and Fort Scott Community College there, 6'2", 219 pounds. And like I said, absolutely an impressive athletic profile. That's another guy that thought, you look at him and go, project? Maybe you fix a couple of things coming from a small school. A small school, by the way, where he was dominant, which is one thing I look at. Like, I don't want the guy who plays at a small school and isn't dominant. We're going to talk about one of those later on that I'm shocked we even signed. Like, if you play at a place like West Florida, like John Giles did, you better be damn dominant. Why do you think you have a shot in hell of competing in the NFL? But he was. He was a very good receiver for them. And again, the guy's doing the hurdle jump with the Giants there, going against the Jets there in that last game of the preseason. So, I thought he might have showed them enough, but they might want to try to keep him on the practice squad. But again, anybody cut this early, I got to think that's not the case. Not the line guy that we were planning on keeping. And we're just so deep at wide receiver.
I was about to say we're very deep at the wide receiver. So like you have to look at it this way as well. It's like if we're going to put a guy like that in practice squad, which I mean, he's probably going to get picked up on practice if we put him there. So it's a respect thing, I think.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's let this guy make deal with a nice contract, go somewhere else.
Yeah. And somebody who really needs a receiver, or stand at the bottom line of receivers might go, let's develop this kid and see what he's got. He's got, I said, got 100%. The physical tool, so he's just raw. So let's get into a guy who isn't raw. This is the elder statesman here of the cuts we got here. And that's Joshua Kelly. Another guy, again, that we just signed. It's almost like everybody we signed in the last month is just disappearing slowly but surely. But again, that's why they were available. Great players aren't walking the streets at that point available readily in August. They're signed by then. So
usually
5'11", 212 pounds. A guy that was the main backup running back there for the Chargers for the last couple of seasons. Got kind of caught up in the regime change there, so he's gone. He's got only averaged 3.8 yards per carry last season, guys. He's the guy that, like, if you need a couple yards, he'll get it for you. But if you need him to be a power horse, like, workhorse kind of back, that's not him. He worked perfectly with Austin Eckler because they were complete opposites. Here's a guy who runs up the middle or runs to the edge, gets a couple yards each time, no problem. But he's never the guy that's going to break the big run. He's never the guy that's going to make people miss. He's never the guy that you're going to want to be your starting running back. And that's the problem, I think. In order to make it in this league, you have to have, as a running back at least, a skill that you can say, this guy does this very well. And that's not what you got there. You don't have that at all with Joshua Kelly. He's just a steady guy that's going to get you, 3-4 yards each time he runs the ball. And that's it. To me, that's not good enough anymore in the NFL the way it's set up.
It depends on the team. It depends on the play. It depends on the layout. But yes, typically nowadays, like we've talked about this before. You've got teams that will set up a workhorse running back, which Joshua Kelly will not let you do. He's not the workhorse running back. So, and the other thing is a committee, and
yep,
it depends on your committee. But at the same time, usually when you have a committee, you got the finesse guy, you got the speed guy, you got the power guy. So you got the diversity, which is still a skill. And this, we talk about Kelly, like he's straight up I formation, usually up the middle, and
we can go off the tackle too. It's just he just has no cuts.
Yeah, he doesn't. But I don't want to say
hole, and that's it.
Yeah, and I don't want to say like he's a power guy. Like he's good. He's really good at that one.
Yeah,
up the middle, breaking the tackle. Get 4 yards, and listen, 4 yards every time gets you a first time.
Yeah. But it won't be 4 yards every time. He got 3.8 because of the fact that he was going and pairing with Eckler, and it was a perfect,
yes,
yang kind of style there at that point. You had the really shifty guy, and then you had the one cut guy.
Exactly. And when you're working on a committee, like you don't want a guy that just goes, and he might get you 2 yards, he might get you 6.
Yeah.
I
wasn't impressed with what I saw. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I looked at him and go, this guy's absolute trash. I just didn't see anything special. And maybe that's a little cruel to say, but it just trying to give you guys my honest analysis of him. I didn't see anything special. And I saw a guy going against, third team guys in the preseason and everything like that, and just not dominating. Like, if you're not dominating against third team guys at a preseason game, I'm sorry, you're just not making it this league as a running back, because there's so many running backs, it's not even funny. And if you got nothing special, they're like that, there's going to be somebody else who does. And I think he's just getting to the point where he wasn't very fast to begin with. He's getting a little up there in years as far as for running backs, at least. I'm not trying to say he's old. I'm old. He's not that old. But, he's getting to the point where running backs start declining. He's 26 years old. So that doesn't sound like that old again for a regular, but if you're counting on speed and you've now 26 years, you've done, 4 years in the NFL, 4 years in college, you got some miles. This is not the guy that's coming out of college at 24 years old. He came out at 22 like people used to do before COVID.
Yeah.
He's got 8 years of running the ball consistently, not even leaving alone Pop Warner high school years in college.
He's got some tread.
So some tread's been gone off those tires. And I'm not saying you have a steep drop off of 26. But when you weren't that fast to begin with, if you lose a little bit, sometimes that's enough, guys.
Yeah. And listen, I'm sure when he was in high school, he was the fastest guy out there. He was the biggest guy out there. We're talking about the NFL. 212 pounds as a running back. You're down a little bit above average, but you're not that much. You're not King Henry, 235 pounds running up the middle. You're not this big bulldozer of a guy, especially when if you're 212 pounds, even if you say high school, you're 190 pounds. You might be a little bit bigger than the defensive line guys. You might be the same size. You're smashed through them. Guess what? These guys on those defensive lines got 50 to 100 pounds in you now. You can't do what you did.
And here's what you got to think about as well. He was basically battling for the 4th spot. And the big guy he's going against is our guy, Turbo Miller. Here's what I mean.
Turbo time.
As far as the, the difference between him here, okay? So this is what he ran in the combine back in 2020. He ran a 4.5 40, which is slow for a running back. Not caveman slow, like, oh my God, this is the worst ever, but slow. And then you got a 4.27 by Turbo Miller. A quarter of a second doesn't sound like a lot, guys. But when you're talking about, we're talking about the NFL, that's a lot. That's night and day, guys. That's night and day. So, it is definitely a big difference there. So, all right, let's get into our next person here, because, like I said, we got so many cuts, guys, to go over.
So many
to do that. But before we do that, we're going to pay the bills. I'm going to let you guys know, too. We had another video. I'm going to put it this way. We had another video we were showing. We're going to pause that for this episode, because apparently there's something else we're supposed to put in that video to keep certain people happy at certain places in California. So we're going to wait to put that back up again. We'll have that next video once I get that adjusted. Hopefully by next video. We'll see. As much stuff is coming out at this point. It might be a couple of videos before I start showing that again. But in the meantime, let's pay the bills there, guys.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty. Let's get our next one here. Another guy that we also signed recently. Trey Keister, which I had to use this picture when I found this, by the way, guys.
It's
For
fantastic.
those of you in the audio version, I feel bad for you. I don't know if he was at a Southern wedding or whatever the case may be. That looks like a barnyard wedding all day long. But that's what I did. It's happened to find when I was looking for him there. It's off his Twitter. It's nice. Anyway, 23 years old, 6 foot even, 224 pounds. He's an undrafted rookie free agent from South Alabama. Originally was signed by the Jaguars, but they cut him as well. His last year at South Alabama, 68 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and was known for being a very good special teamer. And we talked about this when we signed him, but this is what I expected, guys. Like, this is when you get 68 tackles, 68 tackles. Your last season at South Alabama. Now, if that's what you had at Alabama, Roll Tide, I'm impressed. Not impressed, but I'm intrigued because you made it at Alabama to carve a rollout. That's enough when you're an undrafted rookie free agent for me to be interested. But 68 tackles, guys. I mean, the 9.5 tackles for loss was good. We said that at the time. The special teams part's good, but yeah, you're going to have trouble making it. So now a second team's looked at him. The second team has passed on, said, oh, we're good. So listen, I mean, there's a third team passed on him as well. Does a third team maybe put him on the practice squad and see what they can do with him? I don't see it, guys. I think this was a give a kid a shot coming out of college, see what he's got, and I think we've seen now he just doesn't have what it takes potentially now because two teams have dropped him now, and that's two teams dropping him pretty quickly there. So I wouldn't be optimistic to see him again, but hopefully for his sake. I hate when I give these analysis. I feel like I'm like just being rude about them. It's a person. Like, I get it. It's a person. So it's his dream. Hopefully he gets another shot at it. I just don't see it happening. I'm too nice sometimes. It's just weird because I'm kind of a jerk at the same point, but I feel bad. It's a person. It's his dream. It's what he wanted to do his whole life. Just not quite good enough, I think. And like we said before, quite is enough that when not quite good enough is enough to say you're just not NFL talent, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
the Arena League and the UFL is full of guys like him. That's what it is.
And guys like me.
No, not guys like you. You did not make it to the UFL. You did not or the Arena League. Don't you front.
I tried.
Next up, we also cut Lorenzo Lingard as well. Oof, we're just cutting people left and right. Another guy that when we signed him, I was like, why?
Yeah, well, we talked about signing this guy. We're like, cut.
I feel like we got him because we just wanted another running back, and he was available. Yeah. 25 years old, 6 even, 205 pounds, undrafted rookie free agent out of Akron. Yeah, Akron. It's not exactly a place that you, see all kinds of impressive things. And he was also cut by the Jaguars. Another guy cut by the Jags. I don't know why we're picking up the sloppy seconds for the Jags, but we are apparently. We just signed him on the 12th. Yeah, he didn't make it very long, guys. His last year at Akron,
week and a half.
641 yards, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, that's not good, guys. 641 yards at Akron. Can anybody name me one person he played with at Akron? Yeah, no.
Nope.
No. And that just tells you he's probably not going to make it. Now, I will say this. He did go to Florida before at Akron. He also went to Miami before Akron. So he played on some decent, schools at that point. He averaged 8 yards a carry in Miami, 5.8 in Florida, but he just never carved out a role for himself. He had, 17 carries in Miami and 26 in Florida. So it's not like he, I think they were just thinking, give him a shot, see if maybe they just missed something in these guys, the loaded backfield he's playing with at that point there. But no. Again, I think it's just the guy that when you see 640 yards at Akron, that just tells me don't got it. Not quite NFL. Enjoy meeting The Rock and signing the UFL. I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody gives this kid a shot because, again, he's did come from a couple good schools. A couple good schools liked him enough to sign him. But probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Let's talk about the biggest shock of the cuts today, guys. And I mean shock because it happened so early, not shocked that he got cut. I think we pretty much thought this guy was going to be gone. Be honest, I think he should have been gone the second we drafted him. It was a waste of a draft pick. That's just me.
Yeah.
See, I can be mean. Marcus McKeithen, there he goes, running away because they cut him there. He's just stealing his uniform and everything. Fifth round pick of ours back in 22, 6'7", 335 pounds, 25 years old now, just turned recently. Rookie year, obviously, again, completely wiped out by that ACL injury he suffered during Fan Appreciation Day at MetLife Stadium, which I got to say, what is like more poetic justice than ACL injury during Fan Appreciation Day at MetLife Stadium? It's like, we're really preparing you for the season, guys.
Let's show you how it works.
Exactly. Last year, 16 games, 5 starts, had a PFF grade of 45.4, guys. That's really bad. Really bad. So yeah, they're moving on. They've seen enough. And you didn't see him really, making any headways in camp and everything. It was just done. It was time. So, I think is this the first of the Joe Shane picks we've given up on?
I think so.
I'd have to go back up and look, but I think
98% sure that this is the first. Yeah. Well, we messed up. We didn't give up on Eric Gray so far.
Eric Gray's looked good in preseason now, at least. So we got
at least this year, yeah.
Let's just see if his buddy Josh Isudu is far behind. Next up, Aguirre Asante also cut. Now, he may be best known currently by Giant fans for the guy who fumbled the kickoff to start the game against the Jets and really set the tone for the game.
Lester?
Yeah, but again, this was a guy that was, a fast guy, a shifty guy. They thought might need some time. He's got the athleticism. He's a local kid too, from Franklin Township, New Jersey. He went to Jersey City High School. He was undrafted rookie free agent from Wyoming. 21 receptions, 372 yards, and 6 touchdowns at Wyoming. Again, what did I say? Small schools. You need to wow me. Wyoming may not be a tiny school like Akron, with one of the guys we talked about before, Lorenzo Lingard, but Wyoming still wasn't like, it's not a powerhouse team, guys.
Yeah, and you don't think that Wyoming is great football.
Like, that's not good. Either you didn't get a lot of playing time or you didn't do a lot with it. Either way, that's not a good sign. 5'10", 181 pounds, a 4.52 second 40-yard dash time. So yeah, athletic, but not fast. And that was the knock on him coming out. Like, he was a shifty guy. And you saw that at that kickoff return he started there against the Jets before he fumbled the ball away. He was doing good, actually. That was a really, explosive start there until he, caught the ball up. But he's just not fast. And you can't have that kind of speed at wide receiver in this league. You just can't. So I would almost say, and I don't think it's going to happen because he's too skinny. But if that kid could bulk up at like 50 pounds, 60 pounds, but imagine he's a 4.5 at 180. Imagine if you add 40, 50 pounds onto him, like he'd
be a 5'10"
right now. So yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I think it's just not there. At least, listen, at least he got to be a professional for a little while. I know me, if that happened, I'd be ecstatic still. I'd be taking pictures of my uniform and all, going glamour shots at the mall. They still do that? I don't know. Probably not. There's really not malls anymore. I'm showing my.
A lot of them. Died out.
If you know glamour shots, put it up in the comments. If you did a glamour shot, put a link. Let's see your glamour shots in the 80s. All right, 2 guys we also waived injured. Timmy Horn got injured, and we do care. So he tore his Achilles tendon on the very first play of scrimmage. Yeah, that's not good. That was the very first play of scrimmage. So if you're watching the beginning of that Jet game there, you saw the guy go down at the beginning. That's who it is, Timmy Horn. 26 years old, 6'4", 323 pounds, 25 career games, 5 starts. All but one of those games was with the Falcons. He did play 1 game last season with the Giants. Another guy is just a big old, stopgap kind of defensive tackle that just takes up a lot of room, and you hope frees up the linebacker, clogs the line from a running back going through. Kind of another was borderline kind of NFL guys. But again, he's waived / injured. So that means they try to get an injury settlement and let him go, which means he can still link up with somebody else. If he doesn't, then he's officially on the IR, and it's going to pay him out the full thing, but he's not going to have a chance to play anywhere else if he gets healthy. So, we'll see what happens. Wish nothing but the best for him, but that's rough when you're a borderline NFL guy like that, and you've been fighting to make it, and you've gotten in some games. Like I said, 25 games. That's almost 2 seasons worth of playing time at that point there. But
he's definitely got some experience. It stinks, like you said.
That's rough to get hurt like that, because if he didn't get hurt, would he have made it? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Table knows. Shane knows. Bo knows. But nobody else knows.
Oh, yeah.
Bo always knows. All right, guys. We got one more here for you guys. And guess what? It's another guy we just signed. Jonathan Sutherland. Not to be confused with Kiefer Sutherland. Not to be confused with Donald Sutherland.
Wow!
Any of the Sutherlands except for Jonathan Sutherland. Waived/injured. He's listed as a safety by the Giants, but he's really more of a hybrid linebacker safety kind of guy. 5'11", 202 pounds, 26 years old. Still yet to ever play in an NFL regular season game, guys, because he just can't stay healthy. It's not his first injury. So he got injured last season when he was with the Seahawks in their camp with calf injury, and they gave him an injury settlement to move on. This time he's injured again, but the Giants didn't release what the injury was. So I don't want to comment too much of what it is. They didn't specify. I've heard some rumors, but I don't want to throw things out that might not be true. We do try. We're goofballs. We do try to give you accurate information.
Yeah.
Either way, to be very frank, it doesn't matter what kind of injury. Not from the Giants' standpoint. He's injured. They're moving on. So
hopefully it's not his goofballs.
Yeah, I mean, interesting, because now we get a guy that starts his career back-to-back season-ending injuries, or at least potentially season-ending injuries. 26 years old, to be 27 years old next year, never played it down in the NFL, at least regular season-wise. That's, not going to help him, that's for damn sure. But he was worked out by the Broncos before the Giants signed him, too. So there's a couple teams interested this offseason. So hopefully he can, get himself going, get into a regular season game, and, at the very least, get into a game where he can say, I played in the NFL. I don't know if that counts if you just played in preseason. Does that count? You can say you're an NFL player?
I guess so, because
I don't know.
It's a fine line. Because
fine line.
Because technically, you could say you're an NFL player when you're the backup kicker in the Super Bowl.
I guess, but you were at least on the field.
As a backup kicker,
you were still on the field. Well, not you made on the field and played or not. You at least were on an active roster, on the sidelines, in uniform, on a game. Sutherland doesn't even have that. So, and like I said, we just signed him the 14th, guys. He lasted 11 days. It's a week and a half. That's it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, best luck to all the guys that in this scenario. Like I said, we try to give you the honest analysis and this stuff here, but these are people. And it's their careers. It's their dreams. It's their hopes. So, hopefully these guys get a shot elsewhere, because it also means good things for the Giants. It means our backups that we cut weren't crap. It means we had a decent depth. Because if you watch the last 2 preseason games, you probably left thinking our backups are crap. We did not play very well the last couple ones. So, but hopefully, like I said, regular season's coming. Things get better. We get some things rolling. And you see the real offense. Because I'm telling you guys right now, you heard it here. The real offense was not shown yet. If you look at the way they were playing, they were very, very conservative on purpose not to give things away, because I think Dable's got a few aces up his sleeve. So
yeah, when you talk to a very, very offensive mind head coach, and you're going against the guys who played against him all week one, Detroit Lions who played last year, like, are you going to pull out your magic tricks with your second string and you start talking about week 1 preseason? No. You're going against the Jets who we just played all week, this past week. Are you going to pull out your crazy new toys that you came up with this offseason when it comes to your offensive plays? No.
You should always pull.
Always pull out, but always but always keep them a little dirty. But also, you go against Houston, right? Houston's defense isn't the best, but you got the high caliber offense. And that was more a defensive battle, and that was what he was trying to show. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, he did show like the defense did look pretty okay for everything else. So, like, expect a different offense come regular season, especially against the Vikings.
Definitely. So, all right, guys, that's calls a night for us here tonight. keep an eye out, hit the like, hit the subscribe. You'll see where we're at next because we don't know what's going to happen this week with all this stuff going down. You see roster moves, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So if you haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share it to a friend. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite. And of course, the next day we're always available on all the audio podcast platforms as well. So again, guys, we appreciate you guys listening in as always. And as always, Giant fans.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.